She is a neocon war hawk in a post-Trump political landscape.
Trump is going to be the nominee. So they're only running for vice president at this point. Would you not agree?
No. Obviously, Ron DeSantis is not running to be Trump's vice president. Right? Absolutely not. Nikki Haley is not running.
He's 44. Why wouldn't he take that? Of course.
Oh, no, he won't. No, he won't. They hate each other.
You
Nikki Haley's not running to be vice president.
Do you think that Lyndon Johnson and John F. Kennedy didn't hate each other? You think hating someone is disqualifies you to serving with them as vice president?
No, I could see Tim Scott.
Practically a qualification.
I could see Tim Scott doing the VP thing, but I think they're all after something else, because you can also run to get your name out because you want to run again in 4 years. You're just kind of testing the water. Vivek's young enough that the VP office doesn't seem for me to be his goal. I could be wrong.
I will keep you here all night.
But if I could go back just to the VP thing, only because I've watched a little more history because you're so young.
So young. I wasn't even alive for the moon landing.
So
that was good. That was good.
What? What happened? I doubt it.
Child.
But usually, I'm telling you, the vice president and the president hate each other because they just ran against each other.
Yeah.
And the guy picks as the vice president very often the person who is kind of the runner-up, who wants to bring in that coalition. And also the guy who sort of fits the thing that he doesn't do. George Bush picked Dan Quayle because
they balance each other. So guys, real quick, hit this poll because I want to do another one that's more serious. We're gonna keep it up. I want to get at least 7 votes. 2 more. Come on.
I'm old and experienced, and this little boy, they used to have him on Saturday Night Live as a child.
Yeah,
it was funny.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So I think they all. You don't think Nikki Haley?
No, I think she's going for she's running to secure wealth because she started her career
to do what?
Well, she was millions of dollars into debt, right? And now she's got money pouring into her coffers. I think they all have incentives, and I'm not saying any of them are pure.
She's also pregnant.
But I think they're different incentives. I think Nikki is motivated by money, and I think that she, like Vivek said on stage, is actually looking for a deal with Raytheon or something.
Hey, donate now, and I will get my own Iron Throne just for you guys, and you can all have an individual emoji or sticker or something. Let's make it fun.
How much they all want it, though. I noticed many of them purposely, I'm sure they know better, mispronounced Vivek's name.
They did.
Just to get the idea. This person, foreigner, funny name. Vivek, is it? Viveka? What is your... But when Nikki Haley did it, fellow Indian American, I was like, oh, Nikki, not you too.
I know.
You don't know how to say his name?
I know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. How did you think she did?
As good as she could. As good.
Fair. I agree with Bill there. As good as she could. She is a neocon war hawk in a post-Trump political landscape. You're a dying breed, honey. You are a dying breed.
Good as you could do in that.
One more vote, guys. One more vote. Give me one more vote on the poll.
Format. I thought look, it's going to be Trump and whoever he wants.
Pence obviously isn't running to be vice president, right?
Right.
See, they all have different reasons that they're running.
No, he might be deluded enough to think that Jesus will decide it should be him, and that's really what he thinks makes the difference in the world is what Jesus decides. I mean,
I would not be surprised. I honestly, genuinely would not be surprised if he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter how it looks right now. I'm the most bestest Christian there is, so God will obviously put this in my hands."
I remember having
Is that even what Mike sounds like?
A discussion with the old dorm room bullshit session with my sophomore roommate, and we talked about, I forget what the issue was, for 2 hours, and finally he just said, well, because I think Jesus Christ will come down and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why did I waste 2 hours if that's what you really think about how this issue is going to get resolved? Jesus Christ is going to come down and do this and ABC.
What makes you say this right now, though? What makes you say this right now? I don't necessarily, I mean, I kind of disagree in the sense that I think he's gone away from specific TDS and now he is just kind of not really into Trump. Definitely, during the presidency, I was saying that he was too far gone, but he's become a lot more grounded since then. And while I do genuinely agree with you, what makes you say this right now? I'm curious about that. Darian said nobody has a chance against Trump. I get laughed at, but I was laughed at when I predicted that he was going to win in 2016. Yep, I was one of those people laughing at people like you, like my dad. He was early on the Trump train, not super early. He was with Marco Rubio and then Ted Cruz and then Trump, but. This is something that 7 votes. All right, there we go. I will address that in a second. But that is a show that I want to do. My first podcast that was audio only. That's the only shitty part. It was audio only. But it was me and my roommate, and we did a podcast with a very, very early Trump guy. And this was months out where nobody, but I guess him and Darian, were taking Trump seriously. And then he became the nominee. So we're like, okay, I guess we got to do another podcast. But obviously, like, he's not going to win. Like, Trump's not going to be the president, right? So we did another podcast, and me and my roommate were anti-Trumpers, never Trumpers, like, all that. And then he won. I was like, all right, I guess we got to do a third episode and see. I haven't listened to those back since, and I would love to. I would love to see. But shout out to anybody who was early on the Trump train and was able to see that he was something different. He was a revolution. A revolution. And film says, hey, Mike Pence is hip. He used to play Race Bannon on Johnny Quest.
What?
Okay, boomer. Is Bill Jewish? I don't know. Does anybody know that? Logan said he was talking about his former VP and got upset even talking about anything related to Trump. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I don't know though, because he's really he's really making fun of Mike Pence. Because if you're not familiar, Bill is super atheist and very outward about that. So I think that was more of a joke about Pence and how Christian he is. But fair enough. And film said Bill is one step away from buying a house in Miami next to Dave Rubin. I'll say 5 steps. 5 steps. 5 steps. But I agree with the sentiment. 5 steps, but I agree with the sentiment.
Oh, Jesus Christ is going to come down and do this in ABC. And I think that's Mike Pence.
You think Mike Pence is running because he think Christ ordained him?
I think he's running because he thinks it's in God's hands, and he's a very good friend of God. And like, it doesn't look good right now, but Jesus can perform miracles, because we know that because of bread and loaves and stuff walking on.
I take it you're a devout atheist.
Devout.
Okay.
Devout. But are you really an atheist if you treat the government like a religion? I don't know about that. Hey, shout out to Unwanted Foe. It is communion time. Thank you so much, sir. Real quick, let me grab this one before we dive right back in. You guys know I like to dive right back in after the super chats. But CT is talking about Robert Epstein says Trump won't win because Google controls the internet and has so much leverage to sway voters. He made some good points. Yeah, I listened to the first half of that. I'm going to listen to the rest tomorrow on my way to work. Very interesting, but I need to hear the rest because he seems a little bit conspiratorial, but maybe he just knows what I don't know.
I gotcha. I think probably Pence is running because he doesn't know what to do next. He ran a state, became the vice president. What's the next natural progression to think he can be president? And also because he he wants to separate his brand from Trump, which I think he feels like got murkied, and there's some genuine bad.
Thank you again, Unwanted Vote.
Blood there. So I actually.
There's definitely
bad
some
blood.
bad
Yeah,
blood
but I don't think any of them are running to be Trump's VP because they all trashed him on the stage. Vivek is the only one that Trump would consider.
Trashed him.
Trump.
They kissed his ass.
Trump?
Yeah. The only one who trashed him was Chris Christie.
Chris Christie trashed him. DeSantis said nothing. To be fair, DeSantis didn't say anything the whole night.
They all raised their hand when they said if
DeSantis did the.
Yep, we remember we pointed that out, that everybody raised their hand, and DeSantis was like, what am I supposed to say? Oh, I'm going to go with what I'm supposed to say.
Well, okay, but they raised their hand, except for Christie, when they said, would you support him as the nominee? I mean, that's pretty amazing for a guy who's, you know, probably going to be convicted for what he should be convicted for. And I'm sure we agree on this, Candace.
Definitely sure we agree on this.
Oh, sure. They definitely agree on that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.